Bonjour class. I'm going to put up some videos this week for working on direct object pronouns because we're going a little out of order from the book, and the book presents indirect object pronouns first and then direct object pronouns, and I think it's easier to learn direct object pronouns first. So we're going a little out of order, and the tutorial that they provide in VHL Central for this subject is going to assume that you know indirect object pronouns, so I'm trying to make it less confusing. So anyway, bear with me. All right, so what is a direct object pronoun? That's our first question. Let's look at a sentence real quick and figure out the different parts of this sentence. So we have je regarde la télé. All right, I'm going to try to draw here. All right, we'll see if this works. Je, as we've learned, is the subject of this sentence. It's the thing doing the action. Regarde is the verb, right? We've learned how to conjugate ER verbs. This is an ER verb. So that's the verb. La télé is the direct object. Try and spell this with the mouse pad. It's a little difficult. Don't worry, I'm not going to do this through the whole video. That's the direct object. It's the noun that follows directly after the verb. It's also the thing that gets the action from the verb. So the subject is the thing that does the action, the verb is the action, and the word that follows after, the noun that follows after the verb, is the direct object, the thing that receives the action of the verb. Okay, we need to know that so that we can learn about direct object pronouns. So why do we use pronouns? We use pronouns to avoid repeating words, to avoid repetition. It makes sentences simpler. So this is, I watch television. If we wanted to replace television with a pronoun, we would say it in English. So we would say, I watch it. That's all this is, okay? So in French, it or him is the word le. That's the direct object pronoun. If it's feminine, it's la. If the next word starts with a vowel, we're going to use L apostrophe, just like we would if it was a definite article. And the plural direct object pronoun is les, right? And that means them. So let's see how this works. Get rid of this drawing thing here. Okay, so if we have the question, tu regardes la télé? You watch television? If we were going to answer that, we probably wouldn't say, yes, I watch television. We would say, yes, I watch it. So we would say, oui. So we're going to replace la télé with a pronoun. La télé, it's feminine, so we're going to replace it with la. Now in English, this wouldn't move, but in French, when this becomes a pronoun, it moves, and it goes between the subject and the verb. So that's really the only tricky part of this. So we would say, we're going to replace la télé, underline this, with the pronoun la, and we're going to move it. So it's going to be oui, je la regarde. I watch it. In French, it's really I, it, watch. Kind of weird. And if we want to make it negative, we're going to put the ne pas around both the pronoun and the verb. So we would have non, je, ne, oh, sorry, we wouldn't want to capitalize that. Ne la regarde pas. Okay, so the ne and the pas are going around both the pronoun and the verb. All right, let's try a masculine one. Tu prends ce jean? You're taking this jean, this pair of jeans, I guess we say in English. So we're going to replace, here's the direct object, ce jean. We're going to replace it with le. And we're going to move it. So it would be, yes, I'm going to take it, or I take it. Oui, je le prends. Sorry. And if it was negative, we put the ne pas around the pronoun and the verb. So we have non, je ne le prends pas. Let's see what happens if we have a vowel. So if the question was, tu aimes ce jean? Do you like this pair of jeans? Okay, this is our noun or direct object we're replacing. And this verb starts with a vowel. So we're actually going to use L apostrophe in this case. So we're going to say, yes, I like it. Oui, je l'aime. And if it was negative, je ne l'aime pas. All right, this isn't too hard. Okay, let's try one that's plural. Il fait les valises. He packs the suitcases, right? Les valises is our direct object, and it's plural. So if you remember, when it's plural, it should be les, meaning them. So we're going to replace it with les. Oui, il les fait. He packs them. Or if negative, no. Il ne les fait pas. Okay? You can also, we've been using objects here, so we had jeans, we had television, we had suitcases, but you can also use it to replace people. So here, elle cherche Paul. She's looking for Paul. Paul's our direct object, and he's masculine, so we're going to use le. And so our sentence is going to be, yes, she's looking for him. Oui, and it goes in the same place. Oui, elle le cherche. And if she's not looking for him, no, elle ne le cherche pas. Okay? All right, let's practice this. Since your little French cartoon guy always has you practice it, let's give it a try. We're just going to rewrite these sentences and replace this direct object with a pronoun. So, elle regarde le film. She watches the film. We're going to say she watches it. Le film is our direct object, and it's going to move. So we say elle le regarde. All right. Numéro 2. Nous attendons le bus. We're waiting for the bus. We're going to say we're waiting for it. How do we do that? Nous, watch out. Attendons starts with a vowel. L'attendons. Vous connaissez les étudiants. You know the students. We're going to say you know them. How do we do that? Vous, les étudiants is plural, so we'll say les, and then connaissez. Ils visitent l'Italie. They visit Italy. So we're going to say they visit it. So we're replacing l'Italie. L'Italie starts with a vowel, so we're not sure if it's masculine or feminine, but we learned how to say countries in this lesson, I think. And we learned that if a country ends in the letter E, it's usually feminine. The big exception is Mexique, so important for us here in Nouveau-Mexique, le Nouveau-Mexique. L'Italie isn't one of the exceptions, so it is feminine. So we're going to replace l'Italie with la. So, il la visite. They visit it. Caroline retrouve Marc au café. Caroline's meeting Mark at the cafe. This is a good one because you have to figure out the direct object. So is it Marc or is it au café? Well, we learned that the direct object receives the action of the verb, and usually it just comes right after the verb. So you'll be able to identify it. It should be the thing right after the verb, and there shouldn't be any prepositions in between the verb and the thing, the direct object. Here we have au. That's a clue that that's not a direct object. So it is the word that comes right after the verb. So Marc is our direct object. So we're going to say she meets him at the cafe. Or in French, she, him meets at the cafe. All right, so Caroline le retrouve au café. Okay? All right. there are more direct object pronouns. It's not just for him or it or her or them. We can also have me as a direct object, or you, or us, or them. Well, we already did them. So let's see how this would work. You may already be familiar with this. If you know the expression je t'aime in French, you know that that means I love you or I like you. And this de here is a direct object pronoun. So this you here is a direct object pronoun. It's receiving the action of the verb here. All right, so let's see how this would work. We have Paul regarde. All right, so Paul looks at me. To say this in French, we say Paul me regarde. Paul looks at you. The informal one is te. So we say Paul te regarde. Paul looks at him, or Paul looks at it. These will be the same in French. And we know that him and it is le. So Paul le regarde. Paul looks at her, or Paul looks at it. If it's a feminine thing, we know that that's la. So Paul la regarde. Paul looks at us. I know this is kind of covered by the video. There we go. Us is nous, just like the subject pronoun. So we'd say Paul nous regarde. Paul looks at you, the formal version, or the plural version. If it was you guys, Paul's looking at you guys. That would be vous. Paul vous regarde. And then Paul looks at them. We know this one already. That's les. That could be a thing, or I guess things, or people, right? Paul looks at them. All right. And if it started with a vowel, we'll just use aimer because that's easy. Paul aime. Paul likes me, or Paul loves me. Paul m'aime. Paul likes you, the singular informal. Paul t'aime. Paul likes him or it. Paul l'aime. Paul likes her or it. Same thing. Paul l'aime because it starts with a vowel. Paul likes us. Paul nous aime. Paul likes you, the formal version, someone we don't know well. Or a group of people. Paul likes you guys. Paul vous aime. And then Paul likes them. Paul les aime. All right. The book is presenting direct object pronouns in the present tense, but since you know the future tense and now the passé composé, it's also showing you how to use it with those verb tenses, and there's some different rules for those. So I thought it would be better to do separate videos for what happens in the future tense, or when you have more than one verb, and then how to use it with the passé composé so that it's not too confusing. All right, so go into VHL Central, or you're probably in VHL Central. Do these activities. These are all in the present tense, so you can practice what you just learned here in this video. So just these 4, and then watch the next video in the series about how to do this with the future tense. All right. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Bonne chance. Bon courage. À bientôt.